I'm your host, Jeff Sart. We're going to take you behind the scenes with the craft distillers who are pouring their heart and soul into crafting the next version of America's Spirit. This is the Great American Whiskey Cookers. Welcome to Great American Whiskey Cookers. We're here today at Spirit Hound Distillery in Lyons, Colorado. We're talking with Craig Engelhorn, who's the distiller here. And we're going to walk through the process of what they do here at Spirit Hound for their malt whiskey and everything else that they make. Okay, so Craig, you walked me back here to where you store your barrels.
Yep.
Right? So tell me a little bit about your barrels. What's your char level? What's your storage like? You know, all the stuff that the whiskey geeks really want to know about.
Yep. Okay, so we're using primarily char number 3. These are 53-gallon barrels, so full-size whiskey barrels.
Okay.
They're from the Independent Stave Company in Lebanon, Missouri.
Okay.
You know, char number 3 is pretty heavy char.
Yep.
We have a few char number 4s, like here's a char number 4. So we're kind of, you know,
You're
experimenting a little.
Right.
And for us, char number 3, we were counseled when we started this from Independent Stave. I'm like, all right, we're making a malt whiskey.
Yep.
We're in Lyons, Colorado, blah, 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 blah. This is what's in it. And they're like, char number 3, full-size barrel is what you guys want to do. And they were right.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah, love what these barrels do for me. In this particular rick house, if you will, we stack just 3 high because it's short.
Yep.
And this continues around the corner to the end of the building.
Yep.
So I have probably a third of my barrels in here.
Okay.
I also have 2 shipping containers in the back with barrels in them for barrel storage because my building is only this big and we're making a lot of whiskey and it's got to go somewhere, right? But I do love this barrel room. We don't really do any temperature control. We don't do any humidity control.
So Colorado temperature, however it fluctuates,
Yep.
it's affecting what's in here.
Yep. We get hot summers and the whiskey expands and it pushes into the barrel, and we get cold winters and it shrinks back down. And seasonally, you know, I've learned I can check these barrels, you know, once a quarter, but certainly like twice a year.
Yeah.
And I can tell where they're going. You can taste the seasonal difference. Don't necessarily get a difference from one day to the next. Right. But by golly, after a season change,
You can tell.
you can tell.
What's your typical aging on a barrel before you bottle it?
Okay, 3 years.
3 years.
Yep. We have barrels that are up to 6.5 years old right now. I think, honestly, for me as a distiller and a whiskey lover, I think 4 years, 5 years. That's kind of our sweet spot.
Okay.
We tasted a rye earlier. That
rye was delicious.
Yeah, that was 5 years plus. It might have been 6. It was a pretty old barrel. It was really nice.
Yeah,
right?
it was delicious.
But I also know from our barrel number 1, the first barrel we ever produced, at 7 years, we were starting to chew on the oak a little too much. So there's a limit, right? And we lose approximately 14, 15, 16% of for the Angel share in about a 2.5 year period.
So how many bottles, when you go to bottle a barrel, how many bottles are you getting out of the barrel?
If I cut it all to 90 proof, I can get about 300 bottles. Okay. Which is a pretty good yield. But what we do is we'll take a barrel out, because these are all single barrels. These never get mixed together. Right? So at someday, malt whiskey barrel number 498 is going to get taken off the rack, and we're going to pull it into a stainless steel drum. We're going to check the exact proof. We're going to check the weight. Now we gauged it. We know exactly what we have. The first thing we do before we touch it is we bottle a few cases of splits of 375s at cask strength, whatever it happens to be. And so you get that bottle and it says, 63.7%, right?
At cask strength.
Yeah.
And I can buy it here at the distillery.
Absolutely. So our entry proof is almost always 125. That's the highest we can go to make malt whiskey, right, by law.
Okay.
And here in Colorado, we increase in proof over time because the water's evaporating out of the barrel. We're high and dry, faster than the alcohol is evaporating out of the barrel.
Okay.
So we end up at about 130, typically 132 proof.
Yeah.
And we bottle. So we'll take a barrel. We empty it into a stainless steel drum. Really no filtration. It goes through a cheesecloth sock to keep the biggest chunks of char out of your bottle.
Right.
And we gauge it, so we weigh it. We know exactly how much we have. We check the proof. And first thing we do is we'll fill a few cases of 375s at cask strength, untouched. I like to say as God intends us to drink the whiskey. Right out of the barrel.
And I can buy that here at the distillery.
You can get that right here at the distillery. Okay. Then we take the rest of the barrel that's still in the drum, and we figure out how much water to add to it to cut it to 90 proof. And we bottle the remainder of it at 90 proof. That's kind of our standard bottling strength. We chose that with our first 5 barrels that came out. We sat down with several tasting panels and tasted at 80, 90, 100, 110 proof. And 90 was like, that was the sweet spot.
That's a sweet spot.
Yeah. 80 was too sweet.
Yep.
100 was really pretty good. 110 was a little too hot for most people.